What's going on, guys? Aaron from Top Tier Gaming here, and today I am coming at you with a brand new dueling book game featuring myself on the brand new Labrynth deck, which is a super cool archetype from Tactical Masters, and my opponent who is on the Synchro deck, which is an absolutely crazy deck that can make some really wild first turn boards, as we will see in this game. At the time of recording, I was at 880 rating, so decently high rated, and my opponent was at 714. I've been testing this deck for a couple of weeks now, and I have tried so many different wacky techs and different cards that I have been on sort of a ladder spiral downwards. I think I was at around 950 or so, maybe closer to 1,000 when I started testing, but I've been trying some stuff. I've been trying to figure out the kinks of the Labrynth deck. But before we go into this game, I do want to let you guys know, Discord link down below along with all of our other social media links. Also, I am trying to hit 20,000 subscribers, so if you do like the content here, you like what you see, and you feel like you want to watch more, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps me and what I do here on the channel. And without further ado, let's hop into this dueling book game. So, I'm going to start off with the rock, paper, scissors, of which we do win, which is fantastic when you are on a, trap strategy like Labrynth. We're going to see me go first here. And looking at the opening hands, I open up Solemn Strike, Ariana, the red one. They're both named Ariana, essentially. I don't know why. Ice Dragon's Prison, Draco Utopian Aura, and Stovey. Also, if you're interested in the Labrynth deck list, I actually just uploaded a Labrynth deck profile that you can check out on the channel if you want to see something very similar to what I was running here. The list is a little different, but it's very close. My opponent opens up Ascator, Synchro Overdrive, Overtake, I don't know why I said Overdrive, another Ascator, Junk Synchron, and Junk Converters, so it looks like a hand with a lot of gas. Just starting off with the turn 1, I'm going to summon Ariana, and I'm not going to use her effect. I'm going to set the strike, I'm going to set the IDP, and I'm going to set the Draco Utopian Aura. And yeah, there was a couple of options I could have taken here. I could have just tried to use Torby to set Welcome Labrynth. As you see, I do not have it first turn. But I didn't feel like getting rid of Strike or Draco Utopian Aura was worth using Torby to get the discard, so I just decided to go for a very simple normal summon, not using her effect because I do not want to get rid of my Ice Dragon's Prison. So yeah, very simple first turn, and I think it was the best play I had with this hand. Our opponent draws Doppel Warrior, so his hand definitely looks like some insane gas. Our opponent is going to start by activating the Ascator, discarding the other copy of itself, and then special summoning it and the Fire Ant from the deck, trying to get a very easy access to a level 8 Synchro. I'm going to think at Resolution and activate Ice Dragon's Prison. We're going to take the Spellcaster and banish both copies of the Dawnwalker. Going to go ahead and special summon out, banish. And then from here we can activate our Ariana to draw a card, and then I can choose a special a fiend or set a spell or trap. But bare minimum, I'm going to get a draw, which is very nice. We're going to draw Terrors of the Overroot, and I'm going to decide not to set it, just in case at end phase I want a card in my hand to discard off of Stovey. And also, with this in hand, he can't really interact with it with back row removal or things that pop. So our opponent is going to discard Junk Synchron and Junk Converter to activate Junk Converter, which allows him to add a Synchron monster from his deck to his hand. I'm going to say that's okay. He's going to add Junk Synchron, which is a very, powerful monster because it can go ahead, activate its effect, and target the Junk Converter. I'm going to go ahead and hit that with a Utopian Aura because, this is essentially Strike, but you don't pay life points. And he's going to ask if I want to use the effect to take it. Of course not. I don't really want to discard Stovey or banish Stovey to take the monster. You don't use that second effect too often. It's only for very specific monsters like Kaleido Heart, where you really don't want their grave effect activating. And then you choose to take them. That's how I've been using Utopian Aura recently, though. Our opponent's going to activate the Overtake to reveal Junk Warrior. And by revealing Junk Warrior, he is able to special summon a Junk Synchron from his deck or grave. He's going to special summon the Junk Synchron from his graveyard. And then from here, he's going to activate the Doppel Warrior, special summoning from hand. And now he has access for a couple of different things. He could Synchro with this and the Doppel Warrior or the Junk Synchron. They're both level 3, so it works. And he's going to try to go for the main card of Synchro, which is Junk Speeder. And of course, I'm going to strike the summon of this card because this card, if this thing resolves, you pretty much lose. And I have to strike the summon, which is the better thing to do anyways. But I would not be able to strike the effect because Doppel Warrior would be channeling 2. Now, striking this summon My opponent does not activate Doppel Warrior. Now, there's a couple of things. I'm not sure how this actually resolves. This feels right, but I'm not sure. So, Doppel Warrior says, if this card is sent to the graveyard as a Synchro material, you get to special summon 2 tokens. Now, there are things, right, when you link with a Prank Kid monster into Meowmoo, who is, banned, so this won't come up often anymore, but it used to, and you strike the summon of Meowmoo, the Prank Kid wasn't actually used for a link summon because the summon didn't resolve, and that's sort of why Doppel Warrior wouldn't get its effect here. But Doppel Warrior, is worded differently, so I'm not sure if it resolves differently. It says, if this card is sent to the graveyard as a Synchro material. It doesn't say, a Synchro material for a Synchro summon, which I guess maybe is, superfluous, and you don't really need to, you're doubling up on it, and maybe that's why it doesn't resolve. But, it was still sent to graveyard as a Synchro material, just not for a Synchro summon for Junk Speeder. I might be going in hoops here, but I don't know if Doppel Warrior actually resolves or not. Striking a Meowmoo, no, the Prank Kid won't activate, but Doppel Warrior was used as a Synchro material. Synchro was just negated. It could just be like a Prank Kid, but I'm not quite sure. You guys can let me know what you think down in the comments below. So my opponent is going to go ahead and pass with an Ascator. If he was able to resolve Doppel Warrior and get some tokens, he still had a couple plays, I'm pretty sure, and if he's on 2 Junk Speeders, he can't make it with this, but he could make, I don't know, maybe Excel Synchron. That might need a Synchron as well. He could make Hyper Librarian and run this over. He could make Herald of Arclight, which could do something. He definitely had some plays if Doppel Warrior could resolve, but I don't think it does. So end phase, we're going to go ahead and activate Stovey, discarding Terrors of the Overroot, and we're going to go ahead and set Welcome Labrynth and draw for turn, which we draw Breakthrough Skill. This is something that was not in my deck profile. I've actually been testing this card over Imperm for the longest time. I didn't have him for the profile, but I actually like this. I prefer Breakthrough Skill to Imperm recently in my testing. I'm going to go ahead and activate the Welcome Labrynth in the draw phase, special summon out our Lovely Labrynth, and from here this snowball is kind of ridiculous. We're going to activate Lovely Labrynth in what should be main phase to set Terrors of the Overroot. We're going to go ahead, set our Breakthrough Skill, go battle phase, swing at the Fire Ant, swing with Ariana, and then from here we just pass our turn. There's really nothing our opponent can top deck to get out of the situation. We have 2 pretty powerful interrupts, and Overroot is going to proc 4 different card effects, so from here, our opponent was really not able to do anything. He's going to summon the Stardust Synchron. I'm going to Breakthrough Skill, and we are going to go ahead and go into game 2. So, fair enough, my back row having 2 very powerful counter traps was enough to stop our opponent's turn. Going on into game 2, I am going second, so opening hands, I open Ariana, Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch, Labrynth, Solemn Strike, and Welcome Labrynth. So this is a pretty insane hand. Would have been absolutely phenomenal going first, but of course most trap decks hands going first look crazy. But yeah, this is really good. Our opponent opens up Junk Converter, Synchro Overtake, Saravis, which is a very interesting card. It's very good when you summon Junk Speeder and you're able to have this so your monster doesn't get Impermed or Veilered. We have the Fire Ant, which is not something you want to draw, but we do have the Dawn Walker to sort of, make it a little bit better. So our opponent's going to start off here, and we're really going to see the power of the Synchro deck because, of course, I have no hand traps. We're going to see just what this deck can do uninterrupted. It's pretty insane. So our opponent's going to discard Junk Converter to special summon Dawn Walker. Dawn Walker is going to special the Fire Ant from hand. He's going to be able to go for a Chaos Ruler here. Chaos Ruler effect, going to go ahead and mill 5. Looking at the mills, we have Destrudo, Prep, Jet, the Trail, and the Junk Converter. So yeah, definitely a pretty good mill. I mean, these 2 engrave are pretty good. So yeah, definitely a good Chaos Ruler. Add the Destrudo, which will be a good discard for Jet later. Overtake, probably revealing. There's a couple things he can reveal here. He's going to reveal the Junk Warrior. Going to go ahead and get the Junk Synchron to hand. Normal summon Junk Synchron effect, target the Junk Converter, and luckily our Dueling Book doesn't freeze up when he targets the monster. Synchro off those 2 for Junk Speeder. Chainlink 2, gonna go ahead and activate the Converter, which is just an insane card. Lets him special summon a Synchron from graveyard, I'm pretty sure. Or just a tuner, so he's gonna special the Jet, and then he's gonna resolve the Junk Speeder. Special summoning just 2 from deck, gonna go ahead and activate the Stardust Synchron. Add the Stardust Illumination, activate Illumination, which allows him to send a Stardust monster from his deck to the grave, in this case Stardust Synchron, which is going to allow him to tribute the other Stardust Synchron to special summon it, which is going to trigger the Trail in graveyard. Trail is going to go ahead and special summon, and as you see, our opponent is just amassing a lot of monsters to synchro with. Going to take the Jet Synchron and the Stardust Trail, and make Excel Synchron, which he now gets a token because Trail was used as a Synchro material. See, this card, I want to bring this up. If a Synchro, or if a Warrior Synchron or Stardust Synchro monster is Synchro summon using this card, you can special summon a token. It makes me think that Doppel Warrior should say, like, if this card is used for a Synchro monster, I don't know, or like a Synchro summon. Or I guess it says Synchro monster is summoned using this card as a material. I think Doppel Warrior just maybe needs updated wording. I'm not quite sure. I'm still on the Doppel Warrior thing, but yeah. He's going to go ahead and send a Stardust Synchron from deck to grave with Excel Synchron. Decreasing the level, I'm not going to lie, there is level manipulation here that I could not follow while I was playing, and I'm not quite sure how it all works. So we're just going to trust our opponent that he knows what he's doing with the levels. So he's going to take Junk Speeder and Junk Synchron into Crystal Wing, fair enough. Gonna go ahead and take the Excel, which is a mysterious level, and the token, and make the Celestial Double Star Shaman. This makes sense, he sent a 4, so Excel Synchron is level 1, so is the token, fair enough. Shaman effect, gonna go ahead and special Junk Converter, 2 of them. Can it do the same monster? Yeah, it just doesn't care. Alright, so he's gonna special 2 Junk Converters, Stardust Illumination to reduce the level, Synchro off Stardust Synchron and the Junk Converter into Hyper Librarian, which we all know this card is absolutely insane. And from here, the deck just goes beyond bonkers. Making a Cupid Pitch here. Gonna go, Librarian's always gonna be Chainlink 1, Cupid Pitch, Chainlink 2. Cupid Pitch to decrease the level. Gonna take the Cupid Pitch and the Chaos Ruler into Barone. This is a lot to keep up with. 1 Librarian, 2 Cupid Pitch. Cupid Pitch is going to add the Caligo Claw Crow, fair enough, it does have 600 defense. I take 1,000 for Cupid Pitch's other effect. He's going to draw Doppel Warrior, insane card. Our opponent just keeps getting more gas because of Librarian, which is honestly insane. We're going to go ahead and pitch Destrudo for Jet. Special summon the Crow Claw. Make a Metal Marcher, which is again insane. Metal Marcher effect. I'm going to try to speed through this a little bit because, I mean, this combo is long. Draw the Harpy Feather Duster off of Librarian, which is really bad for us. Gonna go ahead and synchro the level 3 and the level 5 to make Omega. He's gonna activate Omega's effect, and from here, I was like, okay, if he hits the Labrynth, we're especially good. If he hits anything but Strike, we'll keep playing. But if he hits the Strike with Omega, I will just scoop and go to the next game. So our opponent rolls his dice, hits a 4, and chooses the Ghastly Glitch. So we are gonna keep playing here. If that was Strike, we would have just scooped, but we are just going to continue. He's going to activate Destrudo, targeting the Shaman. Effective Doppel Warrior. Gosh, this deck is so insane. If it gets to play, it is a wild deck. Now, it does have a lot of problems with Dark Ruler, unless you're playing a lot of good hand traps, so, like, if it goes first, it feels like an FTK, but it's weak to so many things that it's sort of what keeps this deck from being absolutely amazing. He's going to go ahead and take his monsters and make an Arc Light. Doppel Warrior effect. I don't even know what level this Destrudo is, to be honest, but we're going to find out once he chooses to Synchro Summon. Synchro off a Destrudo, so that was level 5. Stardust Charge Warrior going to go ahead and draw a card, which you would like hope is a hand trap, and he's going to pass there. So we're going to draw Compulse. Honestly, this is still worth playing out. Like, I'm going to go to my main phase, just normal summon the Ariana, no effect. I do not want this getting Crystal Winged for just no reason, or Arc Lighted, no reason to activate this card effect. So then I'm going to go into the battle phase. I'm going to attack into the Arc Light to get a negate off the field. Now, I didn't know if he was playing Illusion of Chaos at this point or not, but it turns out he is because he activates the Arc Light. Gonna go ahead and search Illusion. I mean, even if he wasn't playing this, it can search Saravis, which is pretty neat. I'm going to go ahead, go main phase 2, activate Labrynth, which I was like, if this resolves, we're in a super good spot. And I don't really expect my opponent to use their 1 Omni Negate on Labrynth, because I could have a board clearing card like Raigeki. I guess not evenly matched in this case, but, you know, there's a couple of things you get punished by if you negate this. However, our opponent says, nah, we are not playing that game, and he just bare negates, fair enough. I'm going to go ahead and set 3 and pass my turn. During draw phase, I'm going to activate the Welcome Labrynth, which he does not negate, as he has no negates. We're in draw phase, so Barone can't tag out. Gonna go ahead and get our lovely Labrynth, and then I'm going to activate Compulsory, I believe. Yes, Compulse targeting Barone. Now, interesting, our opponent lets this resolve, because I'm pretty sure you can discard this card, or okay. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a monster you control, you can discard this card and negate the activation. I'm really surprised my opponent let that resolve. Maybe he just realizes or thinks he has enough gas regardless. But yeah, anyway, on res, I'm going to activate Lovely Labrynth, Chainlink 1, RA Chainlink 2, so we're going to get a draw here. And we could set the breakthrough skill, but no point. And Lovely's going to pop Crystal Wing, which is, I'm surprised he didn't see that coming. Like, he probably should have negated the RA just to get any value out of his Crystal Wing. But yeah, so I'm not setting with that effect. He goes ahead and Harpy's Feather Dusters, my Solemn Strike, which was like sort of my only thing that I had going for me. Omega comes back, and from this point, I'm not gonna lie, we have no interrupt. So it's just our opponent playing out his combo, which I'm going to fast forward a little bit because, I mean, the writing's on the wall. I'm toast. We're just gonna see how he does it. You know, he's still comboing, makes Barone, makes Psychic End Punisher, and from there, he's at 2,000 life points. I just lose that turn. So going on in game 3, in which I am going first, which is very nice. Again, trap strategy, you want to go first. Opening hands, we open Backjack, Welcome Labrynth, Ghastly Glitch, Labrynth, and Pot of Prosperity. Definitely a super solid hand. We are missing a very important piece of this hand, though, which is something to negate, you know, a Harpy's Feather Duster, for instance, right? Our opponent opens Junk Synchron, Stardust Synchron, Lightning Storm, Doppel Warrior, Stardust Trail. So besides the Lightning Storm, his hand actually looks a little weak. Like, there's not actually too many extenders. It's a very, like, one play type of hand. So our opponent needs a little bit more gas in his hand as well. But if Lightning Storm resolves, it's gonna be toast. So we're gonna go ahead and activate Pot of Prosperity, banishing 6. So in my deck profile, I talked a lot about Prosperity versus Extravagance. And I said Extravagance is what a lot of people are on. Whether because they don't have Prosperity or they prefer Extravagance. And I mentioned I think Extravagance is probably a better, you know, card going first game 1 or going second game 1 even. It's just better game 1. But game 2 and 3, especially when you see a card like Lightning Storm, you need a card like Prosperity. So we're going to go ahead and mill the top 6 cards of our deck. And we're going to see a Tears of the Overroot, a Compulse, an Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch, a Chandraglier, a Solemn Judgment, and an Ariana. So we look at our options here, and if we had Extravagance, we would have drawn these two, which, don't get me wrong, we would have had a crazy hand, but we would have instantly lost to this Lightning Storm. But because we are running Prosperity instead, I'm able to add Solemn Judgment, which is why in my profile I advocated for Prosperity over Extrav. I mean, like, the card everyone knows is bonkers, but I feel like you should still be playing this over Extravagance in this deck for game 2 and 3. It's too important. Like, I literally would just lose to Lightning Storm if I wasn't running Prosperity. So I'm going to normal summon the Backjack, link off into Link Karibo. We're going to go ahead and Backjack effect, see what we sort of banish here. We're going to go ahead and banish 3, and we hit Stovey, Prosperity, and Welcome Labrynth. So presumably I'm going to put Welcome Labrynth to the top there, which we do. We're going to activate Labrynth, step 3, and pass. And then from here, our opponent draws Synchro Overtake, which does allow him to have an extender. Draw phase, I'm just going to, standby phase, I'm going to go ahead and activate Backjack just to set the Welcome Labrynth. No reason to hold it. I mean, there is a reason to hold it for like Lightning Storm, Feather Duster, or Evenly Matched. But I know I'm going to use this set Welcome Labrynth, which I'm going to have to chain the Backjack to anyways. So might as well just go ahead and get that out of the way. My opponent sets Junk Synchron, tributes it for Stardust Synchron. I allow that to go through. Stardust Synchron is going to go ahead and add, and he's going to trigger his trail, chaining it, allowing him to add the Stardust Illumination and get a free body and chain block the Synchron. Now from here at res, I am going to activate the Welcome Labrynth he knows I have. Gonna go ahead and special Lovely Labrynth from our deck. And then at resolution, I'm going to, well, first of all, Welcome Labrynth, because of Labrynth is going to pop his trail. And then from here, I can chain Lovely to destroy a card in his hand or on field. I hit the Doppel Warrior, and my opponent just goes ahead and scoops. Like, I guess he realizes that there's not much he can do. In fact, is there anything he can do? This will only get him a tuner, so if he's not playing Hauki Fibrax, he can't. But I think this locks you into Synchro monsters. Yeah, you have to Synchro summon. So I guess there's actually nothing our opponent can do here because he's tuner locked, which is why I hit the non-tuner. It's better to hit the non-tuner against this deck in most cases. Yeah, so my opponent goes ahead and scoops, and we do win the match. So I did just want to show the play I was going to go for, and I think it's really nifty, and it's something you can do. At res, I was going to activate Ghastly Glitch, dumping the Barrier Statue of the Abyss, popping a Stardust Synchro, because you can just send a Fiend from your deck to graveyard. And then at res, Labrynth can actually special summon the Barrier Statue on like the resolution of that effect, which is very good against a deck like this that is, you know, it has dark monsters, but it funnels into a lot of monsters that aren't dark. And because we have, where is it? Solemn Judgment, we can sort of protect this a little bit. Because we have Link Rebo, it's hard for him to run it over in battle. So this is something nifty. I'm currently siding at 1. You can choose to do it or not. It's obviously the worst Barrier Statue because there's so many dark monsters, but if you're playing against something like Drytron, Marincess, this deck, there are a lot of monsters that aren't dark, so this card can actually be pretty okay. And with all that being said, you know, this is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. This has been Aaron from Top Tier Gaming. Bye, YouTube.